Hi everyone, my name is Sara Delahoussaye, and this is going to be my very first video on YouTube. Well, not very first, but my first video for this channel personally. And one thing that really encouraged me to make this video is that the Lord personally told me to make it, and the reason is to inspire other mothers who are wanting to have children and to have birth to go to Him and to trust in Him and what He has in store for you guys with birth and with the child and everything. So I want to share my birth experience with my second child. A little background: I am 21 years old. I am married to the love of my life. His name is Delahoussaye. We met when I was 18. We also got married when I was 18. So we've been married for 3 years. We have 2 children. One is 2 years old. Her name is L'Oreal. The second one is about almost 2.5 weeks old, and his name is Laval Jr. LJ is what we call him. And that's my second child is going to be my birth experience that I want to talk about, because I really involve the Lord with this birth experience. With my first one, I was very naive. I did not know labor. I did not understand it. I didn't care for it. It was labor, I was pregnant, I was 18, I was more concerned about money and how we're gonna make it rather than about labor or about the pregnancy itself. So with my second child, I really did want to focus in on the Lord and asking Him on what I wanted for this birth experience. And I should have found the book before I started this story, but it's on Amazon Audible, and it's called Supernatural Birth. I saw this one other YouTuber. She talked about her birth experience and how she read the book and how it inspired her to talk to the Lord and involve the Lord in her birth experience and how He answered her prayers. So me looking at that, I was like, you're going to answer mine. And I requested about 5 personal things. I didn't know that the Lord was going to answer all of them and give me every single one of them, but He did. So the first one was that I wanted to go into labor naturally on my own, whether that more preferably contraction starting. And then the second one was that I wanted to be able to labor at home as long as I could. The third was going to be that I go all natural, trying to go all natural without any pain medications, without any epidural. The fourth was going to be that I did not tear down there in the vagina area, because with my daughter L'Oreal, they had to use the vacuum, and they had to cut me 3rd degree, which is like, here's the vagina, here's the butthole, and they had to cut literally almost to the butthole, so it was almost there. The stitches were very uncomfortable. The recovery, I still recovered very well, but it was hard sitting and being active after the 3 weeks, so that was another issue that I did not want to go through. Another thing that I wanted, what was it? I forgot the fifth thing that I wanted, but did I? No, I think those are the only 4. The only 4 thing that really was something that I pushed for and that I prayed for constantly throughout the whole 9 months. Well, not the whole 9, but majority of the time of me being pregnant with my son. So I started declaring it and reading that book from Amazon as much as I could literally almost like once a week. I did stop for a period of time towards the end of my pregnancy because I just was getting more tired and more busy trying to figure out everything, getting everything set up for him, for the child, and also having another toddler, which she took up majority of my time. So that was another issue. But I really did become more God dependent on this labor and wanting him to do things for me that I personally asked for. Now, I did have doubt. I did have disappointments. I was unfaithful at some points in my pregnancy. It was more towards the end. Starting around like 39 weeks, I started becoming very disappointed and very discouraged. Only because I was 35 weeks and 2 days, and they told me that I was 1.5 centimeters dilated, cervix was soft, everything looked good, he was still high up. So she was like, you could go into labor pretty soon, or if not earlier than what you think. So I was just like, okay, I'm excited, I get to labor on my own. I don't have to be induced like I did with my first one, because the contractions are just a lot harder to deal with and sustain. And I wanted something completely different than what I had with my daughter. My daughter was a 17-hour labor. It was just not what I wanted, but again, I was naive in it, and I didn't know what I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't ask for anything. I just wanted a healthy baby girl. And so that was at 35 weeks that she told me that. 36 weeks, 37 week, 38 week, and 39 week appointments come up. So it was about like a month later, and I haven't progressed one bit. That was very, very disappointing to me. I was discouraged because I was doing everything I possibly could to get labor going, to get my body going for labor, and it wasn't working, apparently, is what I was telling myself. So that day came at 39 weeks, and she told me, you haven't progressed, we're gonna set up an induction date for 41 weeks. And just setting up that date was like so discouraging in my head. I literally, when I got home from the doctor's appointment, I sat there, did nothing, watched TV, binged myself. I ate like crap, and just kind of complaining to God about, I haven't progressed. Are you really going to do things that you say you're going to do for me? Are you really going to give me the labor that I wanted? I don't see it happening since I haven't progressed one bit. Like, little things in my head that I'm like kind of dogging at the Lord for, and I tell him sorry, like not every day, but I tell him sorry occasionally for it, because really he gave me everything plus more in my birth. So going on, that was on a Tuesday of April 2nd of my 39-week appointment. Then came Wednesday, I had church, so I had time to repent for whatever things that I've put into my heart that the Lord wasn't going to do. And, I kind of just like, Lord, this is your timing. I can't move it. I can't do anything. I can try things like to induce my labor, but who knows if that's going to work. I'm just going to let my body do what it's meant to do, and just allow you to move in me and not be discouraged or moved in anything. So my husband, we looked up some things to induce labor and try. Of course, walking, of course, sex, of course, all those other things to do to pineapple induce your labor, to try and get everything going. I did the evening primrose oil, I did the raspberry leaf tea, squats, those activating labors where literally you're like in a froggy style. I did everything. So he found the midwife brew, so of course I'm like, oh, let's try it. I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll just go try it and see. So we went to Target and we got all the materials for it, and that was around like 9 o'clock, and it was after service. And then 10:45 I finally make it and drink the whole thing. It was absolutely disgusting. It was warm. I think the almond butter mixed with like the pineapple juice and the tea was just over. It was everything mixed together. It was just too much and disgusting in my opinion. And the warmth didn't help, but they said to do it warm is better than having it in ice. So I did it. Had no intention of it working, so I just went straight to bed. I didn't eat afterwards or exercise afterwards. I just went to bed. And 10:45 came, or that was at 10:45. At 2 in the morning, I started having like this tightening around my tummy, and I was like, okay, this may be contractions. Okay, but don't get excited. I'm like telling myself, don't get excited. You know, it could be false alarm. Then 2:30 came around. I was like, man, like they're still coming, and I have to kind of close my eyes and like think about them and like kind of focus my head in them and just, you know, get through them, if that makes sense. So then at 2:30 I finally get up and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the living room and bounce on the ball and see, you know, if they stop, because they say sometimes movement stops the contractions. I go and I'm bouncing on the ball and I'm like, okay, another like an hour I believe, and I'm like, they're still coming. They're still, you know, they're coming. They're kind of stronger now to where I'm like having to breathe through them. I'm having to like concentrate. So I'm like, okay, I think this is the real thing. I go back in the room and I wake up my husband and I'm like, I think you need to like we need to start getting up. I co-sleep with my first daughter, which shouldn't do. Don't do it. She's been co-sleeping for like 2 years. I did get her to sleep train in her room, but another story. So he gets up and he go ahead and takes a shower, and after he gets out the shower, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm still having contractions. They're still coming. And this is to the point to where like it's no longer breathing and being able to move. It's not like I have to stop, grab the wall, breathe, and actually personally like stop my whole body from moving so I can just focus in and breathe through them. And that what happened. So I started folding clothes because I had 2 things of laundry that I had to get done before he was here, because of course I'm not going to want to do laundry with the newborn. So I do that while I'm watching Netflix, and then I'm like, okay, I need to get everything for L'Oreal's bag packed. Like I already packed everything, just little things to put in. So I start getting everything around the apartment, the chargers, the diapers, and putting them in the bag. Hi everyone, I'm so sorry I had to cut the video right here, only because the video is now too long. I talked too much, so there is a part 2 that is right next that's gonna happen. It's gonna pick up right where it ended. Sorry about that. Thank you so much.